today we're doing what I want to name or tag as a flat-packed Halloween. And the idea behind that is for people with small spaces or people who don't have any storage space to have decorations that fold flat, go in a folder, disappear, and can come back next year.
Can I pull this one?
Yeah, absolutely. The other idea is that it's something, when you do something like a village like this, you can add to it each year, take things away. You can do like family dinner where you make these, or like have friends over, drink some wine and make these.
So you can make anything, like you can make like Christmas ones too. Like you can make a Christmas village too.
Yeah.
But we're doing
You'll be back in November for that.
We'll see how today goes.
So
But you don't have to just, we're doing Halloween today, but you could really do.
Yep, so the idea behind this one's super simple. Black paper automatically gives it the vibe right away that it's Halloween. And then I use a DECOR pen, a paint pen, in a light blue to get these lines, architectural lines on the outside.
Oh yeah, and that would be better than the black because it reads black, but not the same black as the paper, right? Is that why you use blue?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
When
so
I
it's a
did,
little bit of contrast.
when I did white, it got muddy, and when I did blue, it looked more crisp.
Well, I like the white on here.
It's actually like baby blue.
Oh, that's the blue too.
Mm-hmm. So basically, what I did is, if you look at this folded, there's one shape cut out. It's the house front, and then some kind of side, and the side piece is the depth of the house. So whatever you make this piece, that will be the depth of the building. Now, I made these at 8 inches wide on this one, so it ended up being a square from the top, the blueprint of it, and that gave me a lot of depth space here, which I don't necessarily need. I don't have LED candles right now, so I'm using real candles, so something to think about with that is if you're using LED, it doesn't matter. If you're using real candles, this thing needs to sit way far away from those candles. So I have pillar candles that I put in it, and so there's like 3 inches around on each side. The other thing is once we cut out the windows, we lined the inside with a tissue paper, and I did lime green there and like a tangerine reddish on this one. And then once that was glued in and dried, we added the mullions, the window dressings and casements.
Did you do that on the back side?
Drawing?
Yeah.
I just drew right on top of this, right, while it was in space.
Does it make a difference?
Nah.
Okay.
Especially because since the paper is black, it doesn't, even if you hit the side of the paper, it doesn't matter.
I see.
Something that I would recommend for this is tissue paper is pretty fragile, but you can use something like a Glaseen paper or a vellum, which will last longer. And also if you're using something acid-free to store these in, they will last longer than the tissue paper. But so what we did here is I cut 2 identical pieces like this. I added a tab on each side, folded them, and glued the sides together. So what happened was this front facade, I have a mirror image on the back. And as you can tell, I tried to cut a moon shape. I tried to get something to project back on the wall, which didn't work as well. But what you can also do is cut the front, a side, and a side, and then do a custom back. So you could do like a mountain in the background, or like another scary house like way off in the distance, and that would be lit from the front. So you can get like a tiered diorama kind of vibe going with it, which I think is really interesting. And you can also do things like glitter the paper or collage the paper, which we have pieces which we might try later to show you guys with these old magic show advertisements that we got out of a Toshin book. So we'll be trying that. What we're going to show you right now is this general house, how to make this general house from a drawing. Something to notice, you can use scissors, but an Xacto knife is going to be a lot more precise. It's just not kid friendly. So if you have kids working on this, make sure that there's a parent supervising them, or that they're using like really safe scissors. You won't get the clean edges with the scissors, but it'll still be really cute, and it'll be nice to have kind of a collection of different styles. You know, like if a family's making them, it would be nice to have some that you know, like the kid made, you know, that you could tell right away.
Oh, we just cut them out for the kids. Right.
Yeah. Or you just send your kids to the babysitter, and you do them without them, and you get drunk while doing it.
Would this be good for kids to do?
I think, you know what, if parents are worried about the cutting, I think once you get it to this stage with the tissue paper in it, in the black paper, just give them the paint marker and let them go wild.
Or you
kids,
can let them draw the house and then they can just cut it.
Yeah,
I do everything else themselves.
Yeah. In Savannah, I did a project with the kids at the East Broad Elementary School, and we brought them a cardboard playhouse, and then gave them markers, and they went wild. They loved it, and ended up turning. Mainly, it just said like Tupac all over it, but it was really fun, and all the kids got really excited about doing it. So, if you want to pre-make these, that's great. If you want to pre-make them for a party with your friends, make them all different, and then just hand out, you know, things to decorate it with, and do that. But you can buy the tissue paper and stuff. I got mine at Barnes & Noble as a pack of every color under the sun. But everything else I'll link below, and let's get to it. Let's do this.
Okay, I'm ready.
Cool.
Good. So, are you gonna go see the new Halloween?
Sure. Yeah.
Is that why you're like all? Is that why you're watching?
I was really excited for Venom, but then I heard it's awful.
Oh, it was so much fun. I liked it.
Okay, so it's like people get it. If you get it, it's amazing.
Fun. No,
right.
It was fun. It's not a good movie. Okay, it's not a good movie. But it was so much fun. It was the most fun out of the movies all year. We had so much fun.
What was so fun about it?
Just Venom's personality is weird, and Tom Hardy is like acts insane.
Yeah.
And,
Tom Hardy's like my celebrity freebie.
Is what?
You don't have a celebrity freebie?
What's a freebie? I don't get it.
Like, even if you marry your husband, like, if you were to meet, like, Jake Gyllenhaal, he'd have to be okay with you.
I see.
Sweet love him.
No, I don't have a celebrity freebie. I don't really make those. I don't sit around and.
Ever since I saw Tom Hardy in Wuthering Heights, which was like BBC, like old school Bronte.
But yeah, I would watch Tom Hardy read the phone book.
I forgot who Jake Gyllenhaal was after all.
But yeah, no. So it's really fun, and he's really funny, and like he acts insane. Like there's this scene with like a lobster tank where Tom Hardy gets in the lobster tank, and he's like biting lobsters, like spitting them out, and like.
Why? As Venom?
No. Well, like he has venom inside of him at that point, and it's like the hunger or whatever is taking him over, and he's like just trying to deal with having the parasite. But no, it was a fun movie. The first part is really boring, but it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a good movie. But at the same time, there's actually really good things in it. So I really liked his relationship with Michelle Williams, and after they break up, she meets another guy, and they bring the new boyfriend in, and it's like they have like a really cool kind of dynamic where it's like everybody's cool with each other and really mature, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
You mean emotionally?
Yeah, it was a fun
intelligent.
movie. It's highly recommended. You should have gone and seen it.
I will.
Right now, let's put this paper away. Go see the movie.
I really want to go see. I do. So this is the base for my New York City brownstone. This is my first apartment building in. This is my first apartment building in New York. I added a couple of architectural details. I took away the fire escapes. My room was down here on the bottom floor. There were a lot of rats outside with the trash cans, which I also removed. However, I do think that lends itself to being really cute. And yes.
I was gonna ask you for another.
Pencil, go for it.
That's
Now,
where you're at.
when I cut this with the Xacto, I am not cutting this with a square or a straight edge because I want this to be very freehand looking because the drawing is going to be freehand and I do not draw straight lines. I draw wiggly lines. I want the cut lines to be a little wiggly. It adds to the character of the drawing and it adds to the spookiness of the drawing. So just, you know, if you look here, like my shingles aren't perfectly matched up. My mullions in my window slats aren't perfectly matched up, and that's okay because I think it adds a little character to this. I don't want this to seem like really hi-fi in the way that it
You want it to
appears.
look rustic.
Yeah, and in that way, if you're with a group of people, you can definitely get things to look very similar and more cohesive, the less strict you are on the aesthetic.
So scoring is what, for those of you out there that don't know? What's scoring, John?
Oh, I just dripped. So scoring is lightly taking a cut into the paper. So you can do this with the Xacto knife, but Xacto blades are so sharp you have to be very, very delicate with it. But you can do it like with a wooden pencil, you can do it really hard with the graphite line then, and it creates an indent along the straight edge where you want to put your fold. You put it on the side that you want to fold away from. So I scored this side and then folded this way. And that's,
So I just did it.
yeah, and it's perfect.
And I just really lightly ran the razor blade. It's like you're really not even pressing. Like you're just kind of lightly running the razor blade along the surface of the paper. And then that way it allowed me to fold it perfectly. So I just, basically you put the ruler where you want the fold to be, and then you're just gonna really just with a light touch just run your razor along it. And then that way you can just fold it over and...
The other thing about Josh's is where he's folded. If he had folded this without the scoring, without the scoring, it would get that weird like wrinkle in the fold. So if you fold by hand, it presses and breaks the fibers back. So you usually get like a wave and a really inconsistent fold. When you're scoring, most of you like bookmakers and stationery people know, like you can get a perfect line. That's actually really good also for things that have to stand up. They sit flat and they won't wobble around on the table.
Okay, so now what do I do?
So you cut out now the outermost silhouette of your drawing. So don't include windows. You do your chimneys, your roof lines, your sidewalls, and then you give a recess for the depth piece. So I would do it like there, score across. So you want to do, so if this is my side with the drawing, this is the front of my townhouse, this is the recess going back from the townhouse, and this is a scored paper tab. So I scored here, because it's a townhouse, it's just a block shape. His will be a lot more intricate, and there's a lot of time spent in that. So then I scored the corner, and folded back.
Okay, but where's still the tab? How high does the tab need to come up on?
The tab, you can do
Needs
like,
to be the same
you
height
can
as
cut
the
in,
recess?
no, you can like come in here, in this recess like here, and do a little tab there.
Put the tab on this side.
You won't need one on this side because it'll be on this second
so this
depth.
is where...
Yeah. So just look here and see if, is this the wall or is this the wall? Where's the edge? Okay, so maybe you want your tab down here because you don't want it to go into the window. So now that I finished cutting my silhouette out a while ago. So now I'm cutting out my windows. The windows, I'm just doing the general shape and I'm leaving all the moldings on the outside unfinished because I'm going to draw those in with the blue marker. So just if you can imagine, this will have like purple or green tissue paper glowing behind it. And then I'll add the I don't think I will be adding window mullions and things like that, which are the wooden slats in between the panes of glass. But if I were, I would add those to the tissue paper once it was dried with glue on the back of this. So if you can see the construction as it works like this. And glues together once everything is cut out and the tissue paper is glued in and dried. And then you get a nice little open-topped candle holder. So I bought this Barnes & Noble book wrap. It's tissue paper. I don't know what book you would cover with this, but the thing is that it comes in every color. So it's making me salivate and speak weird now.
What? The book wrap?
The 90% chocolate. So I'm gonna go with some that I've already opened, but if you wanted to get like a red or something, Barnes & Noble has it. It's relatively cheap, but it's actually in like a smaller size, which is like easier to work with. I know there's plenty of places that sell multi-assorted. I'll link one below, but you know, support your local business. Like Barnes. Here's what I need, Hollywood. Just answer me here. I need a movie about a gay serial killer, a gay Michael Myers. Maybe he's fucked up.
There was such a thing, but it's not Hollywood necessarily. But yeah, go ahead. I don't think you should do this. I think you should write a screenplay.
You only going to talk about it?
No, because
I don't trust them either, but I'm trying to be open. Is it being
never
vulnerable
know.
strength?
You never know who's watching. Now, on the tissue paper, do you double it up, or do you just use
I
one?
didn't, just because I wasn't completely confident in the strength of the candle. I wanted it to really feel like a lantern.
I see. So maybe not.
So what I do is I take the entire piece of tissue.
So I shouldn't have cut this?
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. I go to the inside of my house and I dab glue around the inside of the house.
Oh.
I lay a full piece of tissue down, let it dry tacky, and then cut the edges of the tissue so it doesn't overlap any of the contours on the building. So the only thing you need to watch out for is not putting glue on the back of your door if you want it to open. Just note that.
I need
So it looks weird. It looks like this right now, and I'm just gonna let it dry for a bit before I cut out the rest.
I see that. I didn't get the, yeah, because I didn't do this window.
Paint pens. Listen, we got different paint pens for all kinds of budgets, all kinds of styles. Play with them, try them out. But again, you're drawing on black paper. You need a paint pigment pen. What?
This is 22 grams of fat per serving.
What's a serving?
Half the bar.
What kind of fat is it?
I don't know, you tasted it.
You need fat in your body,
I know, but
or else
It's
you
a
get
lot.
ADD and anxiety. I feel so much more focused right now. DECOR is like a really classic pen that's been around forever, paint pen. I believe it's oil-based.
well, you got it right in front of you when you read it. Can we just put the dog on the fucking bench already, please?
We've been filming for 40 minutes.
Finally got what you
So
want.
we're taking our designs past Bean and making sure he just kind of approves everything we've done. The next step is to paint pen, or to paint whatever. You guys snotted on my fucking
It's fine.
building.
It makes it look rustic and homemade.
On to these, the architectural details. So the bricks, the wooden slats, the woodwork, the door moldings, the light fixtures, the mullions in the windows, any kind of molding on the outside of the house, anything like that. And for that, we have a bunch of different types of paint pens. We have a whiteout pen. These tend to be really inconsistent, so you have to be patient
They
with
do.
these.
And they clog.
And they dig into the paper. I wouldn't usually use these, but they're 99 cents. There we go. DECOR pen is...
Throwing them like that doesn't help with the, just so you know.
Yeah. When DECOR color pens are...
What are they?
DECOR color.
Decor color, okay.
Yeah, these are like classic ones. They come in every color.
Your teeth are so cute.
And they come in different nibs, the tip of the marker. So they come in different nib sizes, and I use these on black paper all the time. They work great. I use this light blue DECOR pen on this.
Oh, that's what you were saying before.
There is Sharpie paint pens, which come in different sizes. This is a poster size marker. But if you have really interesting thick lines, like different line weights can add a lot of interest to the building. So if you have like a big stone piece around the top of a window or something and you do it with a really thick white marker, it's going to really stand out and look really nice. Everything about these buildings is going to look spooky already because it's white line on black. It already lends itself to feeling more Halloween than anything else because it already feels like nighttime. And then I have this giant one from Montana, this spray paint company. And this one has a nib that actually looks like a brick. So you can just sit there and like brick down and things like that. I'm just going to do contours with the light blue. I'll get you another one if you want to use light because that's a little darker.
So it doesn't show up as much?
It's just, it'd be interesting for detailing.
Well, let's see.
And then I will use a black permanent marker, like a Sharpie, for the inside of the window. So we're going to start on that now. So mine, I've added the architectural details on the black. And now I'm going to go in and add detailing and maybe some silhouettes of people in the windows. Or like a cat sitting in the window, something of that nature. Alright, so now Josh is going to glue the tabs and put his together. His San Franciscan Victorian.
Okay, so this goes here. So this is why you were saying don't make it higher than your lowest window because
the tab will block the window. On the inside of mine, the tab goes...
Wait, well no, because it goes on the inside.
Yeah, but it could still block the tissue, like the light coming through the tissue.
Okay, yeah, he's right.
In your display, you can prop them up on boxes or whatever. You can stick some out further than others.
I like this red one a lot. I like the ghost.
But the idea is that you get like a little village going, and when you put the lights in there, it glows and all looks cohesive. You know, like you did a Victorian, but it still looks like it fits in, you know? And my friggin' New York townhouse, like obviously that would be in a row of townhouses, but still like in the mix of things, it has a certain spirit to it. It's spirited. So now Josh and I are going to go ahead and create our own. These are going to be a little bit wilder, a little bit more mixed media, but we just want to give you an idea of where you can take this if you want to take it further. This is the simple one. You can pump a bunch of these out. You can add more to them later. You can collage on top of them. You can add the glitter, like we said before. You can paint certain things, stickers, whatever. Get the kids involved. Get your boyfriend involved. Get your girlfriend involved.
Your dog.
Get your dog involved. Put his paint in paw prints and let him go. And, you know, and do some crazy things with that. Add fabric, you know, anything like that. So just remember, there's like a lot of stuff you can get that will add layers to it. You can put stuff inside and make the windows visible so you can see like a scene going on in the interior. Or you can build the back out to be part of like a landscape instead of just a duplicate copy of the front of the building. You can do anything like that. So here we go. We're gonna start, we're gonna say one piece of paper each.
You can do... Is Bean gonna get to do one?
Bean is not gonna get to do one. So, as we sped through, we created these two new pieces. Mine was inspired by these old illustrations of the Devil's Work, which was also known as magic. So magic shows were advertised as being men or women who could harness the power of the devil or could speak the devil's word. So I built a little church and I put it on an angle. And the reason I put it on an angle is because it'll be on the end of the row of houses. I can tilt it to give it more interest. I decided to forego the tissue paper because I wanted you to be able to see inside the church. I'll still put the candle inside. I added a roof, which I bended back at like a 45-degree angle and did shingles. And then on the inside of the church, I collaged pages from that magic book. So when you look in, you see all these little devils doing business with what I believe to be was Lady Liberty, but I kind of cropped her out and just kind of made it look a little bit more dynamic for when you look into the building back towards the vaulted ceilings and stuff like that. You want to tell us about yours?
Well, it's really good too because there's stuff to read on the paper that you did. Like there's all these little, whatever they're asking. There's all these little notes in there.
Yeah,
So it's
they're like,
there's a lot of visual interest in there for people that are looking through the window.
yeah, it's an idea you could take through the whole village. I think if you didn't want to do tissue paper, it could be kind of interesting to do like almost like a dollhouse vibe
Yeah,
in like a dark way.
right.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's on here?
Well, I guess mine's not as creative as yours. Although I did make little standees and little bushes in front of this house. So this is the
Yeah.
DeFeo household. It's the, probably one of the most famous ghost houses, if not the most famous haunted
Yeah.
house, right?
I mean, I haven't seen the movie and I recognize that.
Yeah, like the Amityville Horror House. So, but I just scored the bottom of these, like just to make some little standees. You could make little people. You can make little trees.
Yeah.
You can make little pets. You just have to make a little base for it. So I just kind of scored and left a little 1-inch tab so that these would stand
You
up.
could do like a picket, a fence picket.
You could. You just have to leave the base, and they do stand. It's just this is on this tablecloth. They roll over. So, but other than that, I pretty much just did what we did the first time. But I did make a really big one, so like you could put
Yeah, that's
a
sick.
pretty substantial candle in there and not have to worry about burning your house down.
Yeah, I think when you get into this size and you get into this many amount of windows, you really get like a lantern effect, which is really nice. Like, if you think about it, if you ran these things down a dining room table, if you were having a big dinner or something like that, these are something that would be like still very intimate, romantic. You could cut out windows on the opposite side if you wanted that interest, or you could back them to back. But you'd still be able to talk over them. You'd still be able to like put your food and your plates down around them. But when you get to this scale, I think like Josh put way more detail on this. The building comes much more to life in the drawing, and then also with the amount of windows, you just get a lot of light pouring out. So I think at night, this will be way more dramatic than a lot of the previous ones, just because there'll be so much more light pouring out. But we hope you guys like this video. I'm obviously on the bottom. Josh's social media is there, and I'll have it linked below.